You're listening to the Actors Podcast, a podcast where I share what I've learned as an actor and as a producer. My name is Douglas Taurel, and I'll be sharing thoughts on the acting business, the art of acting, and a few other lessons that I've picked up from my experience as a professional actor. Then I hope the stuff that I share on this podcast will inspire you as an actor. One of my jobs in the room is to bring energy as the director, because it is unfair if you're performing and I'm not giving back. I'm your scene partner. I have to have something else happening in my mind.
You have a third eye.
I have to have a third eye. I have to be directing, and I have to be thinking critically, and I have to be making sure the story's happening, and I have to be watching and paying attention and making sure that if you are doing something that you're engaging, then I'm engaging back.
Yeah.
Because if I'm like, okay, I'm tired and I'm sitting back, you're working 3 times as hard, and it's like, it's not fair. And I've caught myself when you said, oh, you come in, you're tired, it's like, I've caught myself and going, you're not doing your job today. Like, and my job is not just to direct. Some of my job is to be the audience.
No, you're a motivator, because you have to drive that energy through, because there's days when an actor's motivated and he's feeling good. Cause, like, let's say, there are a couple of rehearsals, we would have great rehearsal. So I was like chomping on the bit to come back. And then there were days when it was just dead, and you're like, oh. And then you were like, okay, well, tomorrow we're gonna rehearse that section again. I'm like, oh. What does that mean? Because I'm not going to figure it out tonight what that section is. It's a huge part of directing.
Yeah,
just being that motivator,
and also trusting. It's funny when you said we're going to work that section again. The most important thing to remember is when you said I'm not going to figure it out. I'm like, no, we're going to rehearse that tomorrow. We're going to figure it out.
Right.
If we both know it didn't work today, not because one of us sucked.
Right.
It's because both of us don't have traction for it.
It's actually relaxing for the actor when a director says, I don't know the answer. Right? Because it says, okay, we're on the same page here, so that means I can contribute, right? And I've worked with directors who they act like they know all the answers, and then you can't contribute because they know all the answers. So it creates there's a reverse effect, right? It makes you more insecure.
Now you're doing, and also if you know all the answers, A, tell me.
Yeah.
Sure, save me a lot of time. But B, then it's this thing of like, am I doing it right or am I doing it wrong? And it's like, there's no right or wrong.
Right.
It's very funny, about to be Yoda or something. There's no right or wrong. There's only do, and there's, and in Peter Brook's book, there's only better.
Right.
Like, this is more right. We don't know why.
I chose to do a solo show mainly because, well, I thought that it was financially cheaper. And it's kind of like you think, I've done some producing before. You're like, okay, I'm just going to do me. I think it's less people to control, less people to manage, less money. But it's not. It's actually almost more expensive. You have to manage even more. What are the advantages that you think of doing a solo show?
Well, it's funny. I think it becomes more expensive for a different reason. I think the room rental can be less. I think the props can be less. I think but the thing that happens when you do your own solo show, so you don't pay the writer, you don't pay the actor, so it becomes more expensive in a different way because you're also the actor and the writer, so you're giving all that time, and you're also doing the job of producer most of the time. Everybody's goal when they're doing a solo show is to find a producer, because if there's that magical being out there, and it's not going to happen. Well, the advantage for me is flexibility.
When you say flexibility, like what do you mean?
Flexibility meaning you can work around when you have to produce, right? Say you're like, oh, what I have to do today is I have to market, and I have to do an interview, or I have to do something. You're not rescheduling 12 people.
Right. Oh, okay. I was just saying, like, so scheduling-wise, it is easier, right? Yeah, because you just call me, say, hey,
can we do an hour later?
Later, yeah. You don't have to got to call 6 people.
Right. You're not calling everybody, and you can plan ahead. And also, there's also something about solo shows that I believe it's like 3 to 4 days a week maximum. I know that you need the time to also learn the lines and do things. So there's a little less time in the room that's committed. So that's also why flexibility is it. The other one is control of, you're really doing it because you have something to say. The other one, obviously, of showcasing your own talent, putting yourself in front of everybody, showing that what you can do. But I think it's you have something to say, and the residual thing, and this is interesting, I'd be interested to hear your thoughts on it, is it's empowering. It's incredibly empowering to know.
As you mean as an actor or?
As a person.
Oh, yeah.
Like you created a show, you went to Scotland, you presented a show on a topic, you met people that impacted it.
It's life-changing. It's I think the number one thing that I've gained, because, as an actor, as all artists, we all have insecurities, like, am I good enough, talented enough? And so the beast of doing a solo show when it's just you up there, like the level of confidence you gain moving forward from that is, you can't put a value to that, because, your memory gets stronger, your lines get stronger, you could do it, and all of a sudden, you become a different type of performer because...
Yeah, but I became aware through that, like, really, literally, that there's no substitute for the work. Was aware of how much discipline it takes, like, to be, it sounds silly, but to be an actor, because there's nobody going to give me a cue.
Right.
And so not only did I have to learn the lines, but then I had to learn and the intention. And I know that sounds obvious, but it's like, oh, if I hit this, then I can cue myself. And it's like, oh, why am I able to flow?
Everything gets heightened when you're on, because it's just you up there.
It's just you, and you can't relax for a second.
No. And you get those moments, and I'm sure you felt that as a performer. There's moments that you're performing like, oh, man, I'm tired right now. I'm like, oh, shit, I got 20 more minutes to go. I mean, there's no one coming on. I got to find the energy. This is it. It's just me.